Revealed, 7 divine paths to manifest supernatural transformation and escape mediocrity today. In the quaint village of St. Michael's, where the local church towered like a luminous lighthouse amidst the churning seas of life, whispers of profound miracles floated through the air. Grace, a devoted mother of 3, guided her family with an unwavering heart, yet struggled beneath heavy clouds of mediocrity. Her job at the grocery store left her feeling drab, and the echoes of illness and discontent haunted her household like shadows. But one stormy evening, as thunder rolled and winds howled, everything changed. David, her eldest son, fell ill suddenly, a high fever gripping him as he lay shivering on the couch. Panic surged through Grace, pushing her to her knees in desperation. "Lord, please, heal him!" she cried, her faith igniting the very atmosphere around her. In her heart, she recalled the 7 sacred paths shared amongst her church family, each path offering the promise of supernatural transformation. Each encountered miracle was thick with the weight of faith and profound mystery, captivating souls just like Grace's. As she turned toward her church community, their voices echoed with fervent prayers, invoking divine intervention. The air crackled with anticipation. With every prayer, Grace felt an electric presence. It was as if heaven itself stirred. Neighbors spoke of miraculous encounters, a child blind from birth regaining her sight, a paralyzed man leaping from his wheelchair, and a woman's cancer disappearing overnight. Each tale layered the chapel in hope, steeping it in faith stronger than earthly struggles. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With each failed remedy, despair deepened its hold on Grace. She couldn't shake the gnawing skepticism from those who deemed such miracles fanciful. Yet the flickering hope within her grew stronger and more vivid. One night, the church announced a night of communal prayer, inviting believers to come together in deep faith. It was a storm of longing and expectation, each heart united in purpose and prayer. Gathered together, the voices of the choir resonated through the rafters, reverberating with hope. Suddenly, a warmth enveloped Grace. Tears flowed freely as a palpable divine presence swept through the congregation. And then, amidst the prayers and fervent cries for healing, David awoke, his fever broken. Gasps rippled through the crowd as astonishment turned to joy. The sanctuary erupted in praise, light flooding the room like never before. But as Grace stood there, her heart racing, she wrestled with questions swirling in her mind. Was this miracle a glimpse into her future, or just a fleeting touch of divine grace? The 7 sacred paths lay ahead, mysterious and demanding. Would she dare to embrace the unknown, no matter the cost? What lies ahead for her family? Grace's heart raced, the taste of joy mingling with fear and anticipation. As she gazed into the familiar faces of her community, she understood this was only the beginning. The sacred adventure beckoned with uncharted territory. What awaited them on the divine paths? Perhaps their fight against mediocrity was about to transform into a magnificent journey of faith and love. As the days unfolded after that miraculous night, the village seemed to shimmer with new possibility. Grace could feel the change, not just within her own heart, but in the hearts of those around her. The church, once just a building of bricks and wood, had transformed into a beacon of hope, guiding souls toward a horizon filled with divine promise. Each morning, she awoke with renewed purpose, ready to face the world with a smile that was once elusive. David resumed his joyful laughter, filling their home with innocent echoes that danced like sunlight on water. Yet a whisper still lingered in Grace's mind, nudging her toward the deeper truths of faith. The 7 paths now beckoning her to explore. One afternoon, as she swept the porch, a gentle breeze stirred the leaves, carrying with it the gentle voice of an elder in her community. "The first path, Grace, is one of gratitude," he had said during the prayer night, his eyes deep with wisdom. "One must embrace all circumstances, knowing they serve the greater good." Those words hung like a banner in her spirit, urging her to recognize the sacred in both struggles and victories. With this thought, Grace began to practice gratitude intentionally. Each evening, after the children's bedtime stories, she listed 3 things for which she was thankful, sharing them aloud with David and the younger siblings. It became a ritual, a soothing balm that softened the edges of their day. The joy of faith started to manifest in each heart, creating ripples of love that spread through their home. On Sundays, the church became a sanctuary of unity. Worshippers arrived, eager to share their stories of miraculous experiences. One lady spoke of a barren couple who, after prayers, were blessed with twins, their laughter mixing with the hymns sung. Grace could see the faith igniting among the congregation, their shared testimonies lifting everyone higher. Yet not all days were filled with sunshine and joy. Sometimes, doubt would creep in, disguising itself as reality. One evening, as Grace prepared dinner, she overheard her neighbor Mary conversing about the miraculous events. "It won't last," she muttered. "These things don't happen for everyone." Grace felt a jab of frustration. She wanted to tell Mary about the warmth that filled her heart, about how faith had seen her through dark times, but instead, she found herself retreating into silence. That night, seated at the dinner table, David noticed his mother's furrowed brow. "Mom, why don't you say what you're feeling?" he asked, his innocent courage shining through. Grace looked into her son's eyes, where wisdom and love intertwined, and realized she couldn't hide. Laughing lightly, she said, "Sometimes, even when we believe, it can be hard to remember." With each prayerful reflection shared, Grace felt her resolve strengthen against the shadows of doubt. They discussed their dreams and fears openly, discovering that vulnerability was, in itself, a path to transformation. Each conversation knit their hearts closer, a tangible expression of God's love within their family. As the week passed, Grace's vision for her family began to expand. Like a flower reaching for sunlight, each day brought fresh inspiration. But uncertainty still loomed over her, challenging her to step into the unknown. What would these paths demand of her? Could she really bridge the chasm between ordinary and extraordinary? And as she settled into bed one night, the weight of the world pressed gently onto her chest. An unmistakable call echoed in her soul. While her heart longed for miracles, it also yearned for understanding. Her spirit whispered, "Embrace the unknown." With her faith deepening and the journey ahead unfolding, Grace couldn't help but wonder, what awaited on the sacred paths, and where might they lead her family next? The divine mystery remained, alive and breathing, ready to draw them all forth into extraordinary realms of love and transformation. The morning light poured through the window like liquid gold, casting warm beams across the room. Grace stretched awake, heart racing with anticipation. The day ahead shimmered with promises, and whispers fluttered between her heartbeats. Each moment felt preordained, as if the universe had been preparing her for something special. She prepared breakfast with a sense of purpose, her heart echoing the rhythm of gratitude. "Mornin', Mom," David chirped, bounding into the kitchen, his freckled face alight with joy. "Good morning, my sunshine," she replied, pulling him into a warm embrace. His laughter warmed her soul, an affirmation that love thrived in the simplest of gestures. As they gathered around the table, she felt a vital energy, a reminder of the first path she was to explore. "Let's share what we're thankful for today," Grace suggested, and the children lit up at the idea. "I'm grateful for my toys," shouted little Jacob, his eyes sparkling. "I'm thankful for the sunny days," chimed in Emma, bouncing in her chair, her curly hair swaying like a joyful banner. Their innocent declarations wove a rich tapestry of gratitude, leaving Grace feeling filled with hope. Each voice added a thread to the growing fabric of their family's faith life. They laughed together, their hearts unmistakably intertwined. After breakfast, Grace ventured down to the village square. The air was alive with laughter and muted conversations. Joy swirled among the townsfolk, and she caught snippets of conviction in the air. As she walked by the market stalls, she could feel the collective heartbeat of the community, alive, vibrant, pulsing with faith. Suddenly, she felt a nudge in her spirit. An awareness deepened within her. Perhaps it was time to explore the second path. She had heard an elder mention it, the path of compassion. Grace paused at a stall where an elderly woman struggled to carry her bags. Without thinking, she rushed over. "Let me help you, Miss Jennings," Grace exclaimed, lifting the heavy bags from the frail woman's hands. "Oh, bless you, dear. You're such a kind soul," Miss Jennings replied, her eyes crinkling with gratitude. As Grace assisted her, a warmth enveloped her heart. In that moment, she realized that every act of kindness, no matter how small, was a tangible manifestation of divine love. Compassion wasn't just a principle, it was an active choice that opened the doors of heaven right here on earth. As they chatted, Miss Jennings leaned in closer. "You know, dear, miracles happen every day, but sometimes our hearts don't see them, not even for ourselves." Her words lingered in the air, stirring something deep within Grace. It was like a whisper, nudging her to keep reflecting on her journey. Later that evening, gathered together again, Grace recounted her encounter. David's face lit up with curiosity. "Do you think we can do something nice for others tomorrow?" "Absolutely," Grace said, her heart swelling with pride. "Compassion can change lives." As she settled back for the night, Grace pondered all she had learned. The words, "embrace the unknown," echoed defiantly in her mind. What lay beneath the surface, waiting for revelation? The paths unfolded like a beautifully written story ahead, full of promise, yet unknown. Grace drifted off to sleep, a bud of expectation blooming in her heart. What divine revelations awaited her family next? What miracles hovered just beyond their grasp, waiting for the moment to unveil themselves? The sacred journey had only just begun. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a gentle embrace over the village, as Grace awoke refreshed, her spirit alight with anticipation. Dreams of kindness danced through her mind, vivid reminders of her commitment to explore the path of compassion more deeply. Today felt destined for something profoundly beautiful. After breakfast, laughter echoed in her home as David and Emma buzzed about, excitedly sharing plans for a day of helpful deeds. "Let's each pick one person to surprise," Emma exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Grace smiled, knowing this journey would not just be hers alone. "What a wonderful idea. We can make a difference together." They made their way to the heart of the village, a place where each face told a story. Grace felt the tender pull of compassion weave through her very being. As they strolled along the cobblestone path, scenes of need unfolded before her. She saw couples struggling with their groceries, children in need of older brotherly advice, and even a young couple, hush-hush in the corner, worrying about their upcoming wedding. "Look, Mom, those children look sad," David said, pointing. Grace followed his gaze and found two boys, bent over a tattered soccer ball, staring glumly at the ground. "Should we invite them to play?" Emma suggested. With a soft nod, Grace felt a surge of inspiration. "Absolutely," she affirmed, her heart racing at the thought of spreading joy. Approaching the boys, Grace smiled warmly. "Hey there, would you like to join us for a game?" The smile on their faces lit up the grayest of days, and just like that, laughter bloomed amidst the sun's rays as soccer erupted into a joyful cacophony. The game brought everyone closer. Neighbors watched, sons chased, and daughters cheered, laughter ringing through the air like the sweetest melody. Amidst the playful chaos, Grace glanced around and realized this was the essence of community, the pulse of compassion that connected each heart. As they took a water break, one of the boys approached David. Thanks for playing. It's nice to have fun again. Anytime, David grinned. Let's do it again. Grace watched as warmth spread through David's spirit. It was moments like these that whispered back to her, "This is where true transformation lies." With each friendly exchange of smiles and laughter, she felt the familiar nudge in her heart. Was this what Miss Jennings meant about miracles? Just as the sun began its descent, painting the horizon in hues of orange and purple, Grace stumbled upon a group gathered in a park. Curiosity piqued, they joined the throng. A local artist was showcasing their work, each piece exuding vibrant emotion and deep narratives. "Look at that one, Mom!" Jacob pointed excitedly at a painting that depicted hands reaching out towards a glowing light. "It looks like hope." Tears brimmed in Grace's eyes. It truly does. An elderly man, sensing her contemplative gaze, approached. "Art has a way of revealing the unseen, my dear. Just as compassion lifts others' burdens, it opens our hearts to deeper truths." His words struck a chord within her. That night, as they settled in, Grace recounted the day's events with a heart brimming with joy and insight. Yet, as she drifted off to sleep, the mysteries of compassion still lingered around her. What deeper truths awaited discovery? What unanticipated miracles stood ready to unfold? With a profound sense of expectation, she wondered, tomorrow would surely be filled with revelations beyond what they could imagine. As dawn broke, the village glowed softly, revealing a fresh canvas for new endeavors. Grace arose with a heart filled with wonder, her spirit swaying between the dreams of yesterday and the possibilities of today. The air was thick with expectation, as if the universe itself whispered promises of divine encounters waiting to transpire. Gathering for breakfast, Emma couldn't contain her excitement. "What if today we help someone who really needs it?" she proposed, her eyes brimming with anticipation. David nodded vigorously, inspired by the idea. "We could find someone who feels alone. Maybe they just need a kind word." Grace felt her heart resonate with their ideas. "That's a beautiful thought. Let's ask God to guide us on our journey today. He knows exactly who needs us." With spirits soaring, they prayed, inviting divine direction into their day as they set out once again into the lively streets. Grace sensed an electric energy around her, as if each step was shaping the very fabric of connection that would unfold. She felt as if each person they passed was part of a grand tapestry, each thread an essential part of God's creation. They wandered towards a small bookshop, its wooden sign swinging gently in the breeze. As they entered, the familiar scent of aged paper wrapped around them like a warm hug. Grace noticed a woman leaning over the front counter, her face shadowed in unease. Her hands traced the edge of a journal, but her eyes reflected uncertainty. "Excuse me?" Grace initiated, her voice light yet firm. "You look like you could use a friend today. Is there something weighing on your heart?" The woman looked up, her eyes widening with surprise. "Oh, I didn't know how to explain it," she stammered. "I've been feeling lost lately. It feels like every time I try to write, I just can't find the words." At that moment, Emma stepped forward, her innocence shining like a beacon. "Maybe we can hear your stories. Sometimes that helps to share or talk about them." Grace felt a surge of warmth blossom as they formed a circle around the woman, their hearts eager to listen. As words tumbled out, sharing her fears and hopes, the tension in the air began to lift. Laughter soon replaced tears, creating an unexpected bond among them. "Thank you for listening," the woman said, eyes glistening. "You reminded me that I am not alone, and that is something I desperately needed to feel." Grace beamed, her voice barely a whisper. "Sometimes, our biggest gift is just being there for someone else." As they left the bookshop, a sense of peace wrapped around them like a soft blanket. The sun had shifted, casting dappled patterns of light upon the cobblestones, and Grace knew they had touched a life in a meaningful way. Yet, a question lingered. Was this merely the beginning? Continuing down the street, Grace experienced an unexplainable urge to pause. A familiar face drifted into view. A man she recognized from church, his back turned to them, shoulders slumped. "Mr. Thompson?" she called gently. He turned, and as their eyes locked, basic courtesies transformed into an intimate communion of understanding. "I didn't expect to see anyone today," he replied, masking a sorrow beneath a faint smile. "Are you all right?" Grace's voice carried the weight of concern, a soft brush of kindness. "I've just been feeling the burdens of recent losses," he confessed, shame flooding his features like a shadow. "Sometimes they feel heavier than I can bear." Empathy surged in Grace's heart. "You don't have to carry them alone. Together we can share the load." Emma and David chimed in, their cheerful hearts radiating warmth. "We could all help. Let's share stories of what makes us happy and remember the good." Grace felt guided in that moment, knowing that they were all woven into the same fabric of compassion. As they shared laughter and stories, she marveled at the power of connection, how shared burdens often transform into shared blessings. As the sun began its descent once more, Grace's heart swelled with gratitude. Divine treasures had surfaced in the simplest of interactions, shaping their day into something beautifully profound. Emboldened by today's discoveries, Grace felt an insatiable curiosity rise within her. Were there more hidden gems of compassion waiting to be unearthed? What other revelations lay just beyond the horizon? With eager hearts, they wandered forth, the village alive with endless possibilities. As they strolled through the village, laughter still echoing from their last encounter, Grace observed the shifting light of the setting sun. It gleamed like liquid gold, illuminating the path ahead. She felt a gentle tug at her heart, urging her to seek out more connections, more stories waiting to be shared. "Let's explore the park by the river," David suggested, sensing their collective spirit. "I often see people sitting alone there." Emma's eyes brightened. "Yes, we can spread more joy." Grace nodded, feeling a swell of excitement. They walked together, their hearts open, as they imagined what stories might unfold around the park's peaceful waters. Arriving at the park, they found a familiar scene. Children laughing on swings, couples savoring moments, and solitary figures gazing thoughtfully at the water. Among them sat an elderly woman on a bench, her gaze fixed on the rippling surface, her hands resting on a weathered book. "Look at her," Grace pointed out softly. "I wonder what she's thinking about." Emma approached with a shy smile. "Excuse me, ma'am? Is everything all right?" The woman turned, her eyes sparkling with surprise, but shadowed by a hint of sadness. "Oh dear, I'm just reminiscing over an old story, but sometimes I feel a little lost in my memories." Grace felt a stirring within her. "What's the story about? Maybe we can share some warmth with you." The woman hesitated, then slowly opened her book. It tells of love lost and hope renewed, a journey of faith across many trials. Her voice began to crack, revealing the depth of her spirit. Without hesitation, Grace and her friends sat beside her, eager to listen. The woman shared her tales, each word dripping with sacred nostalgia and pieces of wisdom gained through years spent navigating life's winding paths. "It was in my darkest days I learned the truest light," she said, her eyes shimmering as she spoke. "Faith was my anchor, even when love slipped away." Emma leaned in closer. "What helped you hold on to that faith?" The woman smiled, as if recalling a cherished treasure. "Community. Those who listened, those who cared. They reminded me that I was never truly alone." As they talked, Grace was struck by the profound truth that hung in the air. There was something holy about sharing these moments, a reminder that every life holds the power of connection, healing, and divine grace. When the woman finished, her voice filled with emotion. "Thank you, dear ones. You've opened my heart once more and rekindled the wisdom I thought I lost." Grace's heart swelled, a sense of divine purpose washing over her. They had simply listened, yet it meant the world to this woman. It proved how even the simplest acts could breathe life back into weary spirits. "Remember," Grace said softly, "each story is a thread in God's beautiful tapestry. Your experiences inspire all of us." As evening embraced them, the park transformed under a blanket of twinkling stars. They stood, hands linked, marveling at the myriad of lives intertwined around them. "Imagine what other stories wait to be told," David wondered aloud, his voice filled with wonder. Grace felt a divine spark ignite within her. What if we could create a space for sharing these stories regularly, a gathering of hearts seeking connection and healing? Emma grinned, her excitement palpable. It could be like a community circle where we can listen, heal, and grow together. Yet, even as they dreamed of their next steps, a sense of mystery loomed in the air. What would this new journey entail? What other souls were waiting for their moment to be seen and heard? With hearts aglow and anticipation rising, they knew this was just the beginning. They stepped back onto the path, ready to embrace whatever divine connections awaited them next. Would they find more lives yearning for connection? The unfolding future awaited them, and the village buzzed with potential. As they walked beneath the shimmering stars, Grace felt a playful breeze wrap around them, almost as if the universe was welcoming their new mission. The night felt alive, whispering secrets of connections yet to be made. Each step was a promise, every breath an invitation to discover the unexpected beauty in the lives around them. "Let's gather stories," David suggested, glowing with passion. "From that lady back there to anyone else we meet. All those threads can come together in a circle of hope." Emma's eyes sparkled as she envisioned it. "Yes, it's like shining a light on everyone's journey. If we create a space where people can share freely, we can uplift each other." Grace nodded, feeling a surge of joy. "It will be like a tapestry woven with faith and love. We need to find the right way to invite everyone in." As they continued away from the river, Grace could already see the vision of their plans forming. Perhaps they could start by inviting the elderly lady to the first gathering. She could share her story, setting the tone for a safe space where voices could echo encouragement. Suddenly, Grace spotted a light flickering near the park entrance. It was a small cafe, warm and inviting, with a sign that read, "Open Hearts Cafe." The glowing lanterns outside seemed to hum with life. "Look at that place," she said, pointing. "What if we begin there?" Emma clapped her hands. "Perfect! It feels just right for kindred spirits to meet." With renewed determination, they made their way towards the cafe, their footsteps ignited by anticipation. Upon entering, the aroma of fresh-baked goods wrapped around them like a cozy hug. Soft music floated through the air, creating a peaceful atmosphere perfect for sharing stories. "Let's ask if we can use a corner for our circle," David suggested. They approached the attentive barista, a young woman with a warm smile, and shared their vision. "Absolutely. We would love to have a gathering like that here. You can even hang a little sign for people to come by," she said, her enthusiasm reflecting their own. Grace's heart raced. This was their opportunity to light the spark of community. "Thank you. We'll spread the word," she promised, feeling the energy shift like a holy breeze surrounding them. As they sat at a round table, energized by their plans, conversations from nearby tables drifted into their midst. A couple quietly reminisced about their wedding day, laughter mingling with shared stories of challenges conquered together. Across the room, a student flipped through a well-worn journal, her face brightening with each word she read. Grace marveled at the layers of lives interwoven in the cafe. "See? Every person has a story. It's like a symphony of experiences waiting to resonate with one another," she said softly as she looked around. The idea took root deep in her heart. "In each gathering, we won't just listen. We will pray together, support one another, and encourage the sharing of dreams." David leaned back in his chair, deep in thought. "What if we also invite someone who's truly struggling? a testimony of hope and presence could change lives. Just like the woman in the park, Emma added, her voice tinged with eagerness. We need to remind everyone they are not alone, that even in the darkest times, light can enter and guide them. They will see it's possible to rise. A sense of peace washed over them, and Grace felt a clarity within. They were indeed about to embark on a profound journey, but questions lingered in her heart. How would they reach those who needed to hear this message? Was their mission destined for something greater than they imagined? As they walked out of the cafe, the stars above flickered with possibility, each one a reminder of hope twinkling in their dreams. What sacred stories would the community unveil? As they prepared to step into this new adventure, they sensed a divine whisper urging them forward into the unknown. Holding hands as they stepped out of the cafe, Grace, David, and Emma felt an untamed energy rising between them, charged with purpose and anticipation. The night wrapped around them gently, creating a moment of shared silence, a prelude to what was becoming their new reality, an embrace of faith gathering strength with every heartbeat. Grace took a deep breath. Let's not just start this gathering, let's ignite it. Her voice trembled with excitement, painting the air with dreams yet to unfold. Right, David said, his eyes gleaming. It all begins with a single story. What if we invite people to share not just their past, but also their dreams for the future? Emma beamed, caught up in the reverberation of inspiration. What if we create prompts, a theme for each gathering? That way, we can spark conversations that dive deeper. Maybe we begin with hope. What does that mean to each of us? What does it look like? Beautiful, Grace whispered, the idea blooming within her like a delicate flower. Let's remember to create a space that feels safe. We want every voice to be heard and valued. With unwavering purpose, they strolled through the park toward their homes, but not without planning their next steps. As the cool breeze danced around them, Grace envisioned the diversity of stories waiting in the hearts of those who would soon join them. She imagined voices mixing, lives intertwining, the colors of their experiences painting the tapestry they hoped to weave. And then, a thought struck her, a divine spark igniting within. What if we reach out to the local church? They know people who might be yearning for community. They may already have stories today that could change their lives. Genius, David exclaimed, nodding vigorously. Let's share our vision with them. It could bring even more light into our gathering. Emma chuckled. I can almost see it now, a gathering that attracts not just the curious, but the hopeful heart as well. People might walk in feeling heavy, but leave feeling light, renewed. As they walked forward, a sense of urgency pulled them to act. We can make flyers and post them around, Grace suggested, her heart racing. We can even encourage people to bring someone who needs to hear a message of hope. And, David added, his voice turning serious, let's remind them, this is a space for all, praying together in life's valleys and celebrating victories in the hilltops. This isn't just about stories, it's about connection and healing. The trio paused under an old oak tree, their shadows dancing light-heartedly beneath the star-studded sky. For a moment, they stood silent, each lost in thought, contemplating the journey that lay ahead. It was a pedestal of faith rising slowly, a silent promise hanging in the air, ready to unfold its true purpose. Emma broke the silence with genuine curiosity. Do you think the people we invite will understand what we want for them? Will they come? Grace felt a wave of passion rise up, mixing with uncertainty. They will if we lead with love. We're called to extend our hands. This is our step of faith. What God has not yet revealed will come, but we have to begin. The stars twinkled brighter, twinkling along with her heart. Their journey into the unknown was soundless but critical, a delicate step toward the miraculous. What if every story shared was a spark that lit an unquenchable fire of transformation? They had no idea how this would unfold, but the questions loomed. What hidden depths would each person reveal? What lives could be changed simply by sharing their light? And who would truly find hope in the collective embrace of their community? In the days that followed, Grace, David, and Emma submerged themselves in planning. Their vision began to coalesce like a cloud ready to burst with rain. The air around them pulsed with anticipation. Each day was filled with actions that wove their dreams into reality, and they began to feel the magnitude of this calling. Flyers were designed under the warm glow of morning light, with bold letters announcing "Gathering of Hope." Each leaf of color was a beacon, a siren call for those who felt the tug of longing, whispering for connection and purpose. They placed them in coffee shops, libraries, and community boards, a network of invitation made physical. The trio met again at the park, the same old oak trees standing witness to their fervor. Grace shifted under its expansive branches, her heart racing with a blend of excitement and trepidation. "Can you feel it? This hope bubbling up like an ancient spring? People are thirsty for something more." "Yes," David replied, his excitement mirroring hers. "What we're doing is so much bigger than us. It's as if we're planting seeds, and we won't know which ones will bloom until they do." Emma leaned against the tree, her fingers tracing the rough bark. "But what if some are afraid to open up? What if sharing their stories feels too vulnerable? Then we create a space that eases their fears," Grace assured, her voice carrying tenderness. "What if we each share our own stories first? Let them witness our truth. Together we can build a bridge over that fear, connecting our hearts." "Brilliant idea," David said, a gleam in his eyes. "It's all about authenticity. When they see our vulnerability, it'll invite them to share the depths of their own journeys." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange, a peaceful certainty settled in. They bowed their heads, tightly linked together in sacred silence, praying for revelation and guidance. With each passing day, the mention of the gathering began to weave through conversations, echoing off walls and into the ears of fellow seekers. People began reaching out, curious hearts eager to know more. An unexpected ripple started, a love that pulled them together as one. The world outside their small realm was a flurry of noise. Stories of disappointment, despair, and hopelessness chimed incessantly. But within their gathering, a revolution was brewing. The whispers of faith began beckoning a multitude, stirring restlessness in hearts longing for renewal. All around them, they could sense God's hand moving. What had felt fragile now resonated with strength. Each story shared was a thread being woven into a grand tapestry, shimmering with the glow of divine purpose. Grace felt an inexplicable warmth spreading from her heart, outwards, embracing all those who might soon count themselves part of this journey. "People are aching for this," she spoke softly, almost to herself. "They crave a connection that speaks to their very souls." "But will they believe in hope again?" Emma interjected, her brow furrowed. A flicker of doubt cast a shadow over her bright spirit. "Hope is like a candle," David mused. "Even when shrouded in darkness, it can ignite the fiercest fire. It's up to us to help them light their flames." The moment felt sacred, and they breathed deeply, allowing the weight of their mission to settle upon them, a mantle divinely appointed. As night fell, whispers of dreams danced in the air between them. What would happen when people stepped through that door, carrying stories of hurt and struggle? What beauty would emerge when they were wrapped in love and acceptance, the chains of loneliness breaking away? A delicious tension of anticipation hung in the air. What if this gathering is just the beginning? Grace pondered aloud, hope teasing at the edges of her heart. And a new mystery stirred within her, a wonder of what miracles awaited them just beyond the horizon. Would their humble gathering become a catalyst for change, or was there an even greater plan waiting in the wings? The night stretched, and with it, the infinite possibilities of grace awaited discovery. As the anticipated day of their first gathering of hope approached, the air hummed with excitement. Grace, David, and Emma filled the hours with last-minute preparations. Their hearts beat as one, pulsing with anticipation and hope. The cafe transformed into a sacred space, adorned with the vibrant flyers announcing the gathering, each one a testament to the love and bright futures they envisioned. Grace's heart swelled as she stood in the cozy corner, watching the tables fill. Friends, neighbors, and new faces buzzed with warm conversation, their voices weaving connections blossoming in the air. David stirred the crowd with his welcoming words, his youthful energy electrifying the environment. "Welcome, everyone. This is a space for hearts to gather, for stories to emerge. Here, we shine a light on our journeys and our dreams." Emma stepped in, her spirit shining brightly. "Let's start by sharing some of our stories, to show that we are all on this beautiful adventure together." The group huddled closer, attention focused on Grace as she spoke, her voice steady yet tender. "I once felt lost in the chaos of life, unsettled and afraid. But when I embraced gratitude, I began to see how divine connections can turn ordinary moments into a tapestry of miracles. Today, I stand here, overflowing with gratitude for each of you." As she shared, Grace felt their hearts open, vulnerability radiating through the room. The stories flowed, tears mingled with laughter, the weight of burdens lightened as each person bared their soul. They recounted moments of despair and glimmers of hope. Grief folded into the embrace of joy, showing how life's valleys intertwined seamlessly with peaks of happiness. With each testimony, Grace realized she was witnessing miracles right before her eyes. Lives intertwined through shared experiences, the invisible bonds of compassion creating a palpable warmth within the space. Amidst the emotional tapestry, Mr. Thompson, the reserved man from church, approached the mic. "I have held on to my burdens for so long, but sharing my story here today reminds me that I do not walk this path alone." The hushed silence that followed was sacred, each heart listening intently. As he spoke, a child's laughter erupted nearby, effortlessly lifting the weight of sorrow. Grace marveled at the way the gathering evolved, a symphony of hope blending with raw emotions, the sacred dance of life revealing its beauty in the unity of their hearts. Later, in the comforting shadows of the cafe, Emma shared a story of her own struggles with self-acceptance, her voice weaving through the audience like a gentle breeze. "Every day, I remember that I am more than my doubts. We grow together and learn to see the light nestled within." In those moments, the atmosphere thickened with possibilities, each person radiating divine grace, illuminated by love. Conversations blossomed between strangers, friendships forged in laughter, a rich experience unfolding amidst the aroma of fresh pastries. As the gathering began to wind down, Grace took a deep breath, her heart full. This space, born from faith, was more than just a meeting. It had transformed into a sanctuary where hope sprouted anew. There was an undeniable connection among them, linking hearts beneath the tapestry of God's love. "Let us remember," she said, her voice steady yet emotional, "that hope is not merely a fleeting spark, it's a flame we must tend together. As we leave here today, let's carry this energy outward, spreading kindness like seeds into the world." Applause broke out. Tears of joy filled eyes, and the sacred ambiance washed over them like a cleansing wave. This was only the beginning. A journey of transformation was underway, and Grace felt a shift, a gentle whisper beckoning them forward into a divine calling. As the evening turned to night, they gathered in a circle, hands joined, an echo of unity enveloping them. David prayed into the stillness, affirming their commitment to remain a source of light and connection. In that shared silence, Grace understood with profound clarity that this gathering was not an isolated event. It was merely the launching pad for a movement of faith and love, a divine spark igniting flames throughout the community. With hope and determination ablaze in their hearts, each member left Open Hearts Cafe, a new chapter unfolding before them. As Grace walked home under the twinkling stars, she felt the energy of what lay ahead, each step echoing a melody of God's promise and purpose. "Tomorrow," she whispered, taking in the vastness of the night sky, "the sacred adventure continues. Together, we will cross these divine paths toward healing and transformation." This was their moment, a divine calling wrapped in love's embrace. Now you need to seize this moment. Subscribe immediately to the channel and don't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm so we can spread this message of hope. Comment below your reactions and testimonies about how this ending touched your heart. And please, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this miraculous manifestation. Don't wait even one more second to be part of this divine movement. True servants of God know the importance of supporting our channel through these sacred actions.